Hey guys, what's happening? Thanks for tuning in, coming back and watching. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. Staying safe, taking care of yourselves, all those kind of things. And if you're new here, I'm Jim. Great to meet you. Thanks for coming by. I make tutorial videos here every week showing you how I edit my photos using various software products. Today, I'm in Luminar 4 and I've got a Skyline I shot from the Hancock Tower Observatory in Chicago a number of years ago. It's a raw file that I shot with my iPhone, so it's a DNG. But let me show you the image. Here it is. I've already cropped it, and all I did is I just held my phone up against the glass and took the photo, right? That way I didn't get any glare, because if you hold back from the glass, sometimes you'll get glare from the restaurant that you're inside of, that sort of thing. So anyway, I did that, but what I wanted to do is make a beautiful, impactful, kind of powerful, I don't know, maybe dramatic, I don't know what the word is, but I wanted to make it more to my liking is really what it comes down to, like I do with all my photos. I want it to look the way I want it to look. That's what I turned it into, and I was able to do that really quickly in Luminar. So I'm going to hit reset. I'm going to show you what I did to take it from that photo to that photo. Okay, here we go. There's the base image. It's a little bit grainy. iPhone, it's not ideal light conditions because it's a little, it's like sunsetty. iPhones are only so good. And this is an iPhone 7, by the way. I shot this maybe 3 years ago. I still have the iPhone 7. I'm going to get the 12, I think, when it comes out, because I've had this phone for almost 4 years. So anyway, the first thing I want to do is fix the temperature. So I'm going to do something about like that, and I'm going to leave the tint where it is. I am going to add some contrast. I'm going to go to about 40, mid 40s. And of course, I want to take the highlights down a substantial amount. So something about like that just kind of gets me a base image. And by the way, I cropped this prior to starting the video, but my edits in the light tool have taken me from that to that. So I already like the photo a whole lot better. And the things I think about when I'm editing, especially an iPhone photo, but really all photos, are light, detail, and color. So the first thing I did, although I did a little bit of temperature here, it's really about getting the light correct. And then I want to balance out the detail. And in this case, that involves the noise as well. And then the last thing I want to do, of course, is enhance color. So I'm going to go to AI Enhance, and I'm going to do about a 40 on AI Accent. So something about like that. It gives a nice pop to the photo. And then Sky Enhancer, I'm going to go to about 30, 32, something about like that. So, if you look at the before and after, there it is before and after. You can see what I've basically done is kind of flipped it, where it's a little, before it was brighter in the sky and a little darker in the foreground. And with the power of that AI Accent and the Sky Enhancer, I've kind of flipped that to where now the foreground is a little bit lighter and the sky is a little bit darker. And that kind of fits my mood for this photo. Now, the first thing I see is a lot of the graininess in the sky. So the same thing I do a lot of the time is I'll take negative structure and then I'll go and paint that in. So I'll just get a brush and I'm gonna make this kind of big, and I'm just gonna paint this negative structure here. I'm gonna get some of the water as well and some of that distant kind of cityscape, because the truth is, this is an iPhone shot. This is not something that I'm like gonna spend a ton of time on. And I don't need everything to be perfect, so I'm just kind of doing that. And all I want to do is basically wipe some negative structure across the sky, primarily to just reduce the impact of that noise that I'm seeing in the photo. So if you look at it before, let me zoom in a little bit. If you look at the sky before, you can see it's a bit grainier, and now I'll turn that back on, and after, it's softened it up a bit. It's not perfect, but I'm also going to use denoise here in a moment to enhance that a little bit further. I could also, by the way, just reduce that structure and go further negative if I wanted to. In fact, I think I might do that. I might just go a little bit more negative, just because I like soft skies anyway, but I find that's a great way to get kind of that graininess out of a sky, especially on an iPhone image, is to do that negative structure. Okay, while I'm here, I'm gonna do a little bit of color. So just a vibrance, maybe like a 19 or 20, and a tiny bit of remove color cast, and something about like that. So, these are not big changes, but there it is before, and there it is after. In fact, I'm not even sure how well you can tell. I just wanted to give it a little bit of bump in color, but I want to be sensitive because I'm also going to do some color work here in a moment with another tool. Okay, now to bring up some details, I'm going to do maybe a 15 or something, like on the small and medium details, and then sharpen a little bit as well. And that's something I noticed, especially with the iPhone images. They're just kind of, I don't want to say soft, but well, actually I do. I guess they are kind of soft. So I'm going to rub this detail here, just kind of paint it into the foreground. And all I'm trying to do is create a little bit more crunch in the buildings. And then I'll need to reduce the size of my brush as well, because I want to get some of these that are kind of standing up here and cover a little bit more ground. So let me do that, finish this up, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, I spent about 30 seconds on that with different size brushes. There it is roughly. Again, demo video. I'm not trying to get it exact, and frankly, I don't feel like it has to be perfect. You're not really going to zoom in enough to see the very tops of those buildings and see that I didn't enhance the detail there. But I think overall, if I hit done and zoom in a little bit, you'll be able to tell. So there it is with detail enhancer, and there it is without. You can see it's a little bit softer, and now a little bit crispier. Exactly what I wanted, so I'm going to go fit to screen and move on to the next tool. And that next tool is Landscape Enhancer. I'm going to use Golden Hour, and I'm going to go to about a 30. I'm trying to bring up a little bit of the warmth in the photo. It's getting really blue, and it is a sunset. There wasn't a whole lot of color there, but I wanted to bring that up. Speaking of color, that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to the Pro tab, going to Color Enhancer, and in Advanced Settings, I'm going to go down here to Color Balance, one of my favorite, probably my favorite color enhancement tool in Luminar because it's so powerful. It allows you to separate shadows, midtones, and highlights, and then move the colors around accordingly. So what I'm going to do in the shadows, I'm going to do a little bit of a blue kind of look there. So you can see I'm on the Shadows tab here, and then on the yellow-blue on the last slider, I just went to like 6. Maybe I'll go a little bit more. Maybe I'll go 7. Just creating a little bit of blue in the shadowed areas, which is really picking up some of the foreground and maybe a little bit of the top layer of clouds. Now the midtones and the highlights, I'm going to do a little bit of red here in the midtones because I'm trying to bring up that sunset. So I'm going to do about a 4 there. And the highlights, I'm going to go to about a 10 or 12. And all that's doing is bringing up some of that redness in the brighter areas, the midtones and the highlights, which I think gives it a nice kind of sunset glow. So if you look at the before, you can see that it's a little bit more muted colors, and after, it's picked up a little bit more of that pinkish red that I love using at sunset. And that's why I use color balance. It's just so powerful and allows you to customize where that color is going between shadows, midtones, and highlights. So it's perfect, frankly. I love it. And the last thing is to go back to the primary tab, or the Essentials tab, I should say. And all I want to do is bring up some denoise. I'm going to do about a 30 or so, maybe 33 here, and a little bit in color as well. So maybe about 25 and, maybe like 35 here, 25 there. Let me zoom in and show you what that did. So you can just see across the entire image as I've zoomed in. There's the image with the denoise, and there it is without. You can see there's a bit more grain. Again, I mean, it is a RAW file, but it was shot with an iPhone 7, which is, it's an okay camera. When it came out, I was like, hey, great camera. Nowadays, my daughter has an iPhone 11, blows this thing away. Anyway, it's just a photo that I like, but there it is before the denoise, and there it is after. Definitely had a nice impact. And that, my friends, is my quick and powerful edit for this Skyline. Apart from the crop, it started like that, kind of gray, kind of dull, a little bit, off in terms of softness and graininess in the wrong places. And there it is. I think it looks a whole lot better. And here it is, the sliding window, whatever it's called. I think you can see, at least I can tell, where the sky's gotten softer. Obviously, color is a big difference, but also how I've been able to bring up some of the detail in the foreground. And really, that's it. I mean, if I wasn't sitting here talking, this would take you maybe 5 minutes to do, just running through a few key tools, the light tool, the AI, some of the AI tools, the denoise, a couple of the color enhancement, and a little bit of detail work, and you're done. You can take a fairly boring photo under, not exactly the most exciting lighting conditions, and turn it into something that you're a bit more proud of. I actually love this photo. That was it, my friends. Just wanted to show you a quick walkthrough of a kind of a dynamic cityscape or skyline photo, and how easy it is to edit in Luminar 4. That's it, my friends. I appreciate you guys stopping by, hanging out, watching all that stuff. Interact with me in the comments down below. I'll talk to you soon. I'll be back with another video. You guys take care. See you later, and adios.